Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of the Get Good series with me. Woo! Yay! It's me, your favorite artist. I feel like for this week I wanted to try drawing in different styles. So usually when I usually draw in like one way, right? This time I kind of wanted to try go for a more simplistic style. I think the colors this time are like very muted and like pastel looking. Like when I started, like this was kind of like the idea that I had, like Miku, and then like you had the background and then like the things, and like as I continued it, put in like the base colors. But like for some reason, right, like this, when I had this, I was like no, I just was not feeling it. I think the colors are okay. I felt like if I kept rendering it, it might have looked better, but like for some reason I was just like, no. Instead of the colors, I had to like change the colors to like these ones. It's like two-tone, I would say. Like this is like one tone, the blue over here, and then like over here it's like the pink. And as you can see, like maybe you can see, like I tried to like make it very complementary. So if you look at my color wheel, right, like when you have complementary colors, it makes it so it has a lot more contrast. And so basically, for like complementary, I don't know if there's like anything else really to say other than complementary. There's also like these colors, like analogous colors, so like red, orange, and like yellow. So like all three of these together, very nice and pastel. And then if you like if you wanted like complementary, you can go like this, like orange and then like blue. And then these would look really good together. Those are like very basic color theories. There's also like triads, so like you want to have like triads. These are all like, I feel like this is like pretty basic color theory. I think just like knowing that these things exist will like really help if you want to have like better color choices for your palette. Analogous, complementary, and then like the triads, the color triads. There's more to this. There's so many videos out there on like color theory and stuff, and I'm definitely like not the type of person, or I'm not the person you should be like listening to for like this kind of information. But yeah, that's like the basics of it. I wanted to focus more on the shapes. All of this is like one color, or a big majority of the drawing is like one color. Because of the shapes that I laid out, like kind of gives the impression when you're drawing of like railways, a railway track, and like you can tell here like, oh, this is like, oh, like a stop sign or whatever. Finally, you know, like me, RGB, my favorite, RGB blur, motion blur. This one is like a motion blur. So if you see here, blur, motion blur, this is like for motion blur. So you want it to go like to the right, you go forward, and if you want to make it like the other way, you go backwards. I also make it in both directions, but I find that like, you know, if you're doing motion blur, you usually want it in like one direction. So I wanted the train to kind of move this way, so the faster something is going, the more motion blur there would be. And then like for the areas I didn't want, like Miku, she wouldn't be like flying in the wind. She's not like getting tossed around in the wind or anything. So like, yeah, for here you just like kind of erase it. Motion blur gives direction for your drawing. I feel like with the coat, because of the colors, it has a nice contrast, because everything else is like complementary, but like, so it draws your attention right to the center. I feel like when drawing, it's like this is another thing to keep in mind. It's like reading direction. So usually when you're like looking at an image, you want it to kind of float in this direction. Obviously, like this isn't always the case, but like even if you like flipped it, I think it'd look okay. But like for some reason, because of the reading direction, and now it looks kind of off. So it'll probably look this way and not like this way. I don't know. I feel like this kind of stuff is like, does it even matter? Maybe it doesn't. As long as it works, right? This drawing was kind of like my revenge of this one. I was like, where I really wanted to have a nice simplistic style of like very basic rendering, but like have it look really nice. If you look closely, right, like the rendering is like nothing. Very simple cell shading, and like over here you can even see there's like no shading here. I feel like compared to this one that I did like last week, this one turned out like a much better for some reason. Maybe it's the background, maybe I just rendered it more, like, well, I not rendered it more, like maybe I put more attention to the details and like composition, but like for this one, even though I tried like different values, I feel like it turned out better. Even though the values are like, a lot of the areas are very similar. I think because of the contrast of the colors over here, like with the pink and like the blue, it still looks very nice. Like one thing, there's like contrast with values, dark and like light, more quickly. But like another contrast is like right here, as you can see, like with complementary colors, something like this, you have like instant contrast, right? That's it for colors. But like this is like something I also wanted to try, like messing around with like more shapes and like patterns like this. This is like my other style, I guess. I have like two styles where one where like I render a lot and like I feel pain. And then like this one where like I try to render a bit less. I think it more or less depends on like what kind of art you like, right? Overall, it's just like a preference, right? And like for me, it's like, it's not even like a preference. I like both of them, right? So like I draw both of them. I feel like either way, it's like whatever you like is like what you should draw. Overall, that's it. Nothing crazy for this one either. And over here it's like dappled light. I don't know if you can tell, I just put like a multiply over everything. So like this, if I wanted to have like sunlight, I'll just like put a multiply and then like fill it up over here, and then I'll just like erase. I think if you just like look at photo references and like kind of study from that, you'll be able to understand it. If you put everything in like one area, that doesn't really make sense, right? Like in nature, things are more random. They're kind of like spread out. Sometimes it would clump up more, sometimes it would clump up a bit less. Having that balance and understanding of like where the light should go and like how much you want makes the drawing more believable. If you have like too much in one area, it's gonna be like, oh, no, that doesn't make sense. If you have like too little in one area, it's gonna be like, oh, why is there no light coming through in this like one direction? So you need to have a really good balance. I feel like that just comes from studies. All this just comes from studying, right? Or just trying out things. Like if you never really try it out, you're never gonna like see what looks good and like what makes sense. So that's basically this one. This is another photo from like Unsplash. Not much this week. You know, I've been busy with different things in my life again. If I do like more or less things in a week, then it doesn't really matter to me. I'm fine like either way. And then like for the rest of it, it's like small things like sketches and studies. So like here, over here, another little sketch. And then like with this one, I kind of worked a little bit more on it. Same thing as before, like photo. The photo, you want to match the color of the lighting to the color of the area. So like here, see the light is warm and orange. So when you have the character in the scene, your character is also going to be like warm and affected by the colors. So like all this stuff here is going to affect the color. You can see it over here too, like they have cups here, and presumably these cups are like white, but because of like the orange light, they look a bit more orange over here. For lighting and stuff, your colors to match your background. I think if you made this like blue, let's just flip it, you can kind of see it, like it looks super off, right? Over here, I did some more studies. This is like a sketch I did with this one. I got lazy and I didn't want to render it, but from this one, I took like the top part, and you can kind of, if you can tell, I put it in my Miku drawing instead. For me, like if I get lazy, I'll just like copy and paste. It's not like I didn't draw this. I feel like if I have like unused stuff, I might as well just turn them into like my own assets. And then for the rest of the week, I did gestures. So I'm just gonna like blaze through this. I don't want to bore you with gestures. Gestures are gestures. But I think it's always nice to show them anyway, because like it's nice to show it just because like people don't really see this kind of stuff, like all these studies and stuff that people do in the background. Like all the artists that you see who are like really good with poses and stuff, or like understanding like perspective and dynamics and stuff. It's not like a secret, guys. Like the secret is like they just draw a ton. Like there's like no secret to it. Like in the background, when like between all the works that they do, they're probably studying like everything that they can to do, like gestures, to do figures, all that kind of stuff is like kind of hidden, right? As you can see here, I'm like laying it out to you. This is like the actual work that goes behind like all those drawings, even if it's like small gestures like this. These studies are like things that goes on behind the scenes. That's all for this week. Hopefully for the next week I have something a bit more interesting. I feel like recently I've been kind of stagnating, like doing the same thing over and over again, but next week I want to try out something new again. I want to have a new video. So either way, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope to see you again in another week. Bye bye, see you.